I would like to make a note that this was a completely unplanned video, but I do want to say that it is kind of interesting that one thing right at the end, the conversation between Ainz, Ulgon, and Roswell is the reason I'm making this video, because their conversation had me really thinking that, you know what, it makes sense how all of these can coexist, and there's still like how Garfield and Otto integrated easily, how in the beginning of Isekai Quartet it was the versions of Subaru and Beatrice that were like, Beatrice was still being kind of, you know, her distant self, not necessarily being close to anybody, and now she's being friendly with Subaru, which is funny because Kazuma kind of questions it, and Otto and Garfield are like, no, this has always been like that. And Cautious Hero being there is funny. I am aware a little bit of that series. I'm not fully aware of it because the main ones I've watched have been ReZero, Konosuba, Overlord, and Tanya the Evil, as well as Shield Hero. Like, those are the five I am 100% aware of and hyper focused on. But I am not aware of anything else like Cautious Hero. Like, I'm aware of certain aspects, but other than that, like, I don't have enough details to go over it. But I am aware of the joke that he's just overly cautious. And the opening, these four on a mic, it's like they're in a Discord call. I don't know why this made me laugh. It is still super funny. And, like, the opening, I just like the representation of each area and all the things with them. And then, obviously, the main thing being that Otto and Garfield are integrating in it. I like Aura and Otto's conversation, especially with Aura curious on Otto's ability to talk to animals, which is more of the soul of languages, divine protection, which he basically can communicate with anyone. So, assume Subaru had randomly, like, if he did re-isekai'd into the ReZero world, but don't understand what he's saying, Otto would literally be the only one that could understand what Subaru is saying. Like, something like that, if I were to say. So that is also interesting. Albedo and Aqua having their issues of just being annoyed with each other, or well, Albedo just calling Aqua an idiot, and it's funny. Kazuma not helping and just throwing her under the bus. And Ram just enjoying herself is funny. Shaltier just being obviously annoyed with wow, she did bad. And then I love the little conversation with Amelia and Megumi. They share the same voice actress. It's so funny. All of this is funny. Watching Kazuma like get to meet Garfield and Otto being the literal bros of Subaru is just amazing. Obviously, those question Subaru on why Garfield calls him boss and if he is the boss. Subaru kind of says no. And I do like that Subaru can admit like he is more like there. He can't like put himself up there with the incredible people that have honestly had his back. And then you have this conversation with like all of the characters that like from Tanya's world, kind of talking about this one character. I forgot his name. It's been like a while. They're all talking about him being strong. Darkness and Kokaitis being there is funny because Kokaitis would be interested about strong people, and Darkness, I mean, it's Darkness. And I do like that the whole Sumo thing, they all assumed that Darkness was the one that suggested it. And Garfield looking to be excited, wanting to participate. Just watching him just be like super intrigued on it. And then, as I said, Subaru and Beatrice, like their wholesome relationship, and how they need Mare because they're gonna make the ring for the Sumo stuff. And like all that fun shenanigans is funny. Garfield obviously wrecks the guy. And then we have Albedo joining in, and clearly there was a conversation with Rem and Shaltier. And I do like that Shaltier says, oh, well, Albedo's the strongest. As well as the fact that she basically does acknowledge that Garfield looks pretty tough. And Rem being so harsh towards Garf is funny because I don't know if people know this, but Rem, before her memories got eaten, does know of Garfield and vice versa. The thing is that they both like Ram, and Ram are super close. So Rem is super harsh with Garfield because he's basically going after her sister, and she is protective of Ram. So, and I do like how she basically says that she could be harsher, which basically means she has barely some respect to Garfield. And then obviously Tanya just being the ref is funny as hell, because she's like, oh, well, why doesn't Kazuma do it? And dude's like, no, I won't survive that shit. And I like that she tries to even ask Naofumi, and he immediately refuses. I almost think it's because she's a girl, and Naofumi's still very distant about stuff like that. But either way, that shit is still too funny. And then, obviously, Garfield versus Albedo in a sumo wrestling, and just the two kind of going so chaotic that Kazuma and Darkness going after to find Ainz and get him because Albedo's going nuts, and Garfield is just obviously on the same wavelength of strength with Albedo here, which is insane. It's just super funny, the insanity here, because it all doesn't make sense, and yet it's fun to watch. And obviously I skipped over a part because I do want to end it off on, at least in this aspect, with how it seems like Garfield won and Albedo lost. I don't think he actually won in terms of actual strength. I think Albedo did something to get disqualified, because as you can see here, I'm showing the little screenshot that Garfield did won. He's cheering and Albedo's mad. So there's clearly something that happened that gave Garfield the win, but his ego's gonna go high up. And yet, I mean, I feel good for Garfield deserves a win. But what really got me to analyze this episode and to even talk about it, make a video of it, because I love Isekai Quartet. I love the first 2 seasons. I love the movie. And this season with this episode, the reason why is Ainz and Roswell's conversation. It is the matter of fact that Ainz has been questioning the changes with everyone, how they're so sudden, how they're able to kind of all randomly be a flux with each other's powers, how they seem to just be like adapting to things. And it's like, they're all fakes. They're not the real versions. They're copies of the real versions. Because as they say, Subaru and Beatrice at the beginning of this series, they weren't as close as they are in this episode, which is the domino effect of the original versions. They have the connection with the original versions, and they show us what's going on with the original versions. You have the stuff with the end of Konosuba Season 3 for the Konosuba gang. You have the Arc 6 of ReZero with Emilia and Subaru in their Arc 6 attires for the ReZero stuff. Because we see Julius. Julius is depressed. Like, this means that he's getting affected by his actual self that got erased. At least his name. And that is insane. That is genuinely insane. But that's not all. You have the Overlord movie, because we have these two together, and that was through the Overlord movie. You have Tanya being happy and stuff. I think that's either the end of season 1 or the end of like the movie, because it was like her wanting a more like peaceful, not too crazy job, and then being X kind of fucks it up for her. And yet, after the conversation, because obviously Ainz goes to Roswell for advice on how they could probably start influencing their actual versions, and Roswell getting thrown off by Ainz calling him a senpai, teacher, because obviously that would connect with Roswell and Echidna, so that would probably throw him off to be called a teacher, like a legit teacher. I think it's just the Japanese. Maybe there was a phrase there that was like similar to how Roswell calls Echidna teacher. I'm not sure on that. That's more speculation on my part. But I think what threw me off was Roswell clearly said something that was obscured because it's a secret for this season. But he says, dragons, witch or goddesses, witch, none of them will affect this world. That basically means that something is going on that is going to keep these versions of the characters safe from all the dangers that the other 4 things have caused in their own respective worlds. And that is just a big fucking hook. I can't help but be excited. Damn, this is probably one of the rare times I got thrown off so much that I want to make a video. And this is it. Like, obviously, I'm doing My Hero's final season because I got to, working on the Demon Slayer movie video, which, I have to do Entertainment District. I got Kingdom Hearts 2 finally ready to be edited fully. And I have so much, but this makes me more excited for Isekai Quartet than I've ever been for anything else in a while. So overall, pretty damn good episode. Garfield for the win. Look, Albedo's hot. She is pretty strong. But dude, I would go for the bromance of Garfield because dude deserves a big win.